What would be your recommendation from students currently, you know, maybe looking at all of these issues? I don't know how much hope they have left. So, you know, how can you transfer some of that chronic optimism to them?
Look, so I think at the end of the day, what business schools ought to be doing, and what Charles is doing here and others who I've met today, is offering some practical guidance and foundation for every business student to be the future leaders of the business community. We have a lot of students that take my classes who say, you know, I don't want to work for a big company. I don't like them. I don't trust them. I want to open an organic farm in Bolivia. All right, good luck. Some of you are going to do that. That's fine. But I actually encourage my students, and I would encourage you, there's a lot of big companies that are struggling with these issues, and they're struggling by pooling their ignorance. There's nobody there that's actually studied these issues. And companies tend to come to these issues when there's a crisis. We've talked about Coke, and we've talked about, you know, Levi Strauss and Nike. This is a moment, I think, where graduate business students ought to be honing your skills, going to work for companies where you can get a mentor, learn the basics of how businesses operate, but mindful of your values. You ought to be asking the questions. And I tell my students, the first day you go to McKinsey or Goldman Sachs, they're not going to ask you your views about human rights. Let's be real. But as you work your way up through a big company and you are mindful of these issues, you're going to see things that other people aren't seeing. And it's your opportunity to raise these issues in a sensible way, consistent with what's going on. You want your company to succeed, but you want them to be responsible. And I found over and over again, and this is something I hear a lot, senior people in businesses want to hire the best people. They want to retain the best people. And so every time a business student in an interview says, you know, I want to have a sense of how are you dealing with climate? How are you dealing with these global labor issues? It sends a signal to them, and they tell me they're getting these questions all the time. It begins to change the culture. And so you all, with a career ahead of 50, 60, 70 years, whatever it is, you may work in multiple places, you have the ability to be part of that cultural change. This won't happen simply because the government says it, and it won't happen simply because existing leaders decide all of a sudden, oh, we're going to do it. It's going to come because it's going to come from the middle, from the new, from people coming into the company, their employees, the communities where they operate, and ultimately, I'm hoping, also from investors and consumers. But I think this is an opportunity for you. Don't be afraid to go into a big, complicated company, learn some stuff, and get the tools to figure out how you can change those companies. And at the end of the day, I think that's what will make the biggest difference.
Thanks. So over to you now.